How to go from 70% service connected to 90 or
Oh, okay.
100% with high-value claims.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I totally understand. That is crazy. Wow. Okay. Well, glad we're able to connect today. I appreciate your flexibility in connecting. Nice to meet you. The call here is really designed to answer any questions you might have. So there's a couple ways. Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say there's a couple ways to do it. We can start with your questions, or I can lay it all out for you. However you want to proceed. Mm-hmm. Right. So, a couple things to back up on all of that. Thank you for all of that. So, it's a lot of context. It's a lot for me to work with. I've got some statements I'd like to make to kind of fill in some gaps in your knowledge and then kind of lay out a little bit of what we do and see if it's a good fit for you. So, regarding your 70%, you're actually at 73. What they do is they round you down to 70. So they gave you 70% for mental health, 10% for tinnitus. That's actually a 73% rating. So they didn't choose one over the other. It's a cumulative rating. So you've got 70% for mental health. You got 10% for tinnitus. There it is. So you're actually at 73%. Okay. So now, if, like, say we were to work together on migraines and you get 50% for migraines, that takes you to 90%. You'd actually be at 86.5. So it's cumulative, right? So that 50% for migraines alone would take you from 70 to 90. Okay. So that's how that scoring at the VA kind of works. And I can get into more of that later. Okay. So that's how guys get to, 100. It's cumulative. It's not, they just don't pick the highest rating. It is a cumulative score. Okay. I want to clear that up. Then, so these secondary conditions, I've got 4 in front of you. You mentioned the high blood pressure claim. The reason that was denied is for lack of nexus. Okay, so what a nexus is, so if you look at the decision letter for your high blood pressure, when you filed it all those years ago, it'll come back and it'll say not service connected or no service connection. One of those two phrases. What that means is no nexus. So a nexus is just a connection between two things. That's all that word means. But when you file a claim at the VBA, what they want to know is, how is this condition connected to service? So if they don't see a nexus, they deny the claim. So what happened was you probably tried to file high blood pressure as a direct connection, meaning that means what the VA interprets that as is that you went to sick call while you were in the service and got treated for high blood pressure. So it's documented in your STRs. If you didn't do that, they don't see them in your STRs, they're going to deny the claim. There's no nexus there. So there's 3 ways to get a nexus. Okay. The first is the direct connection. So those are like the tinnitus, or your feet, your knees, your ankle, your back. Those are things you blame directly on service, and you went to sick call. So there's something documented, and then now you're still being seen and treated for it. It's still an ongoing issue. It's a chronic issue. Okay. You establish those 2 points, the VBA will see the link between those as a nexus and award the claim for you. Okay, so that's one way. The second way to get a nexus, but most vets didn't go to sick call, right? There's nothing in your STRs unless you had a bone sticking out the skin, right? So that's a tough route for some vets. The second way to get a nexus is what we do. It's a legal document written by a medical professional that says the condition was caused by service in some way, shape, form, or another, right? We break it down in a language that the VBA is looking for, but that's what, at the high level, that's what it does. It connects it to service for you. Okay, so that's what we do. And everything you see there is a secondary condition. So the sleep apnea, secondary to mental health. The high blood pressure, secondary to mental health. GERD, secondary to, see what I'm saying? So you don't have anything in your STRs for those 4 conditions. They're all secondary to what your service connected for. So that's how you'll win the high blood pressure claim, is going on a secondary rate. Okay. The third way, just to put a bow on the whole nexus conversation, is the PACT Act stuff. If you do anything PACT Act, there's a presumptive service connection there. There's a presumptive nexus. And we can get into that if you have questions about it, but basically that's just the third way to get a nexus. Yeah, so like your back and your ankle, if those were denied, If you don't have anything in your service treatment records for your back and your ankle, you're likely never going to win those. So have you verified that's in your STRs? Did they document it? Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's the key piece that most vets are missing. So how it works with me is this. So I will send you a link to our website. You'd click on that link. You'd put the medical evidence you want us to write for you in your shopping cart, and then you would check out. So it's web-based credit card transaction, just like you're buying something off of Amazon. Once you complete, those prices were included in that email I sent you yesterday. So like the migraines package is $847. Same thing for the GERD. If you wanted to do either high blood pressure or sleep apnea, it's $697 each. So if you wanted to do all four, you're looking at 17, 22, 29, about $3,000 if you want to do all four. Correct. Yeah. So you complete checkout, then you're able to schedule your telehealth visit with one of my doctors. Then he writes you that evidence package that you paid for, and then he delivers that to you. You submit the claim, however you get claims submitted, and then when you win, you keep everything. There's nothing on the back end. We don't charge anything on the back end. So you may not need all four. So migraines would take you, like I said, would take you to 90 if you won that. And then if you won sleep apnea, that would take you to 93.3. Okay. So then you're basically, you need about another 20%. So I guess you do need all four. High blood pressure would probably be 10, and the GERD would probably be 10 as well. So that would do it. So that's okay. That's fine. Yeah. It basically says if you have been prescribed an oral device, then that qualifies currently as a 50% award. Now so there's no guarantees, but I mean, if you look at the CFR, the rules state you have to have a diagnosis and they have to see a nexus. So those are the two table stakes you need to win the claim. So, and we'll screen you ahead of time. So we're only working on legitimate claims. So if you've got a legitimate claim and you get this nexus letter and you've proven a diagnosis, that's what you need to win the claim. So there should be no reason to not win the claim, but I can't guarantee it, right? There's just too many variables at the VA. I just can't guarantee anything. So, I mean, if yes, great. That's great. Yeah. So you appealed it. They found a mistake or an error somewhere and awarded it to you. That's great. Yep. That's awesome. So the three that you probably need 3 of these to be sure. 4 of those if you want the extra insurance or breathing room that filing all 4 would allow. But in order of preference, I'd probably do like sleep apnea and migraines. And then it's a toss up between the GERD and the high blood pressure. So the sleep apnea is a 50% under the current rules. Sometime later on this year, they're going to change that to a 10%. So sooner is better than later if you're filing that claim. So sleep apnea and then migraines is another 50%er. So those 2 alone take you almost all the way there. Then it's a toss up the other 2 between the GERD and the high blood pressure, whichever one you want to work on. If you decide to do both, you're at about $2,900. Did you file that back in like 2001 or? Okay. So no. Mm-mm. What happens is when you file a claim, they give you a year from their decision date. So when they deny a claim, they give you a year from that date to file the appeal and keep your back pay. So what most veterans think is you've only got a year to file the appeal. That's not true. What you need to do is you can file the appeal till the day you die. There's no statute of limitations for filing the appeal, but you forego the back pay if you let that year lapse. So yeah, if you would have filed that high blood pressure claim, last March, now you're looking at getting it going again. Yeah, then you'd be back paid all the way to March of last year. But since it was back, 20 years ago, yeah, they're not going to back pay you for 20 years. So it's all because of your mental health condition. Correct. Yes, sir. Correct. I think I'm tracking. So So for next steps, here's what's going to happen. I'll send you a screener for the headaches. So you'll get a go, no go. So like I said, we'll screen you. We're only working on legitimate claims. All right. So you'll get a go, no go. If it's a no go, we'll tell you why. But if it's a go, we'll present the credit card link, right? Let's get rolling. So I'll send you 2 emails. One is the link to our website. So whenever you decide to roll, you click on that link, we roll. The other one is that headache screener that I mentioned. So you'll get that email here in a few minutes. Then for the sleep apnea, the way we screen you is basically we look at what your service connected for and the sleep study. So you'll upload a copy of your sleep study to us so we can verify that. Okay. So then look for those 2 emails. And then I'm your point man for questions, Michael. After this call, if you think of other questions, I know you got to run and take care of the contractor that's there at the house with you. But if you have questions after this call and you get a quiet moment to kind of think about it, just send me a text or an email, okay? Okay, sounds good. Or thank you for the time today, Michael. Have a good rest of your day. You're welcome. Good. Thank you. All right, bye. So that vet is service connected for mental health and tinnitus. He's wanting to, and he sees the value of a Nexus letter. He's wanting to focus on the migraines and sleep apnea because those are his biggest levers. One of those alone would move him to 90. The other one moves him a long ways towards that 95% threshold. So then he had a decision between the GERD and the high blood pressure being the longest standing claim that he has. And he wanted to know, how does back pay work? So back pay, as I explained to him on the call, works in annual chunks. So what happens is you file a claim on, say, today is March 18th. And then the VA decides the claim on, say, September 18th. So you've got till September 18th of the following year to get that claim, the appeal submitted. If you win it, they back pay you all the way to today, March 18th. Okay, so that's how back pay works at the VA. He was wanting to know if it goes all the way back to 2001. It does not. The key piece missing for him, like he had been diagnosed with sleep apnea at the VA, filed the claim and lost it because he didn't show a Nexus. So the Nexus is the key piece that's missing, and all that is, as I explained to him, is just basically showing how his current service-connected disabilities led to the sleep apnea. So he's going to get a Nexus letter from us and help him win that claim.